Thank you, Mr. Chairman, City Council, city staff, volunteers, and residents. I remember when I turned 16. That was a milestone in my life. That was the magic birthday when many new opportunities opened up for me. That was the age I could finally drive a car. Look out, world. And I was allowed officially to start dating girls and have a little more leeway in my evenings and weekends hanging out with my buddies. Look out, world, again. It was also the time to get a part-time job and start considering what I would do with my future. I also learned more about responsibility, respect, and relationships, including the consequences of a lack of either. I also learned that while playing and having fun were important, I had to learn to put a little balance in my life. I made many decisions at 16 that have impacted, good decisions or bad, the rest of my life. I'm sure many of you can recall those same experiences. Taylorsville turned 16 this year, and our city, like we were at that age, is at a crossroads in its young age. The effects of decisions made now, good decisions or bad decisions, will impact this young city for many years. I would like to talk about some of the issues facing our teenager in the coming years, as well as some of the things that have been accomplished in the past year. First, transportation. Teenagers love cars, but we want our roads to be safe and efficient for our teenager. In 2011, the city saw many road improvements, including 5400 South Redwood Road, 5400 South Bangor Highway, 4700 South Redwood Road, 4700 South Bangor Highway, and 6200 South Bangor Highway. We are looking forward to additional traffic flow and safety enhancements on 5400 South, and are anxious to find alternative modes of transportation, including a bus rapid transit line that will be on 4700 South that is now in the environmental stage of development. We are asking the state for funding this year to start engineering work. One huge road problem that we have had is 1300 West and 5400 South. This has been a very difficult project because it is not only a road project, but it is a major utility project. A very complicated system with gas lines and water lines and electric lines and sewer lines and stormwater lines buried below the road that could be a potential disaster if that road fails. We are happy to report that construction will begin in the spring on this project. We have also completed some major stormwater projects throughout the city, which were very timely, preventing much of the flooding that other cities in the county experienced this year. Next is economic development. Get a job. I can still hear those words from my dad. I needed a job to pay for my needs and wants. The city also has needs and wants. Because of the economic downturn, the city has struggled to keep up with the basic needs of the city, let alone our wants. The best way to turn this around is to invest in our business community, much the same way as a parent will invest in a child's education to ensure that they can earn more money in their chosen career. We appreciate and acknowledge the City Council's support as we continue to work with potential new businesses in our city. Last year, we created a fantastic economic development team. They are currently working with 48 new potential businesses. In 2010, we had 839 storefront businesses. In 2011, we increased that number to 845. We also participated once again in the International Shopping Center Show in Las Vegas. I, along with 2 city council members and our economic development director, traveled to Las Vegas and represented our city, making new contacts and reinforcing some of our existing relationships. Our new ESRI software has shown that Taylorsville residents have more disposable income than most communities. Since Taylorsville is the most densely populated city in the state of Utah and located in the center of the Salt Lake Valley, we have an edge that is unmatched. Although the economy has affected our city like others, we are excited to see that sales tax revenue has increased in 2011 3.5% over the prior year. Our financial audit in 2011 was a clean audit opinion with no audit exceptions. And we have maintained our AA+ bond rating, one of the highest and strongest bond ratings of any city in the state of Utah. Next, we have community development. We, as citizens, have a responsibility to maintain our properties and use them as intended as single-family homes, or apply for licensing through our good landlord ordinance if we wish to have it more than a single family. We now have 496 rental properties licensed in the city, and 292 of those are participating in our good landlord program, which has been beneficial to the property owner as well as to the city in keeping properties maintained and crime-free. Our massive land development code is nearly complete, and it will change completely for the positive the way we do businesses with developers in our city. Next, law enforcement. A teenager needs to learn responsibility to obey and respect the law. We in Taylorsville have an excellent police department. They are a hard-working and dedicated group of officers who care about this community. Property crimes were reduced by 21.8% in 2011, which was the most significant reduction of any municipality in Salt Lake County. This can be attributed to better cooperation with neighboring and federal agencies, changes in the initial response, canvassing of the surroundings, and an increased internal cooperation within our own department. We added 2 more police officers to our department, easing some of the workload and providing better service to our residents. We also secured a Violence Against Women grant that added a half-time detective to our violence crime unit. Animal services. As children, we are taught the responsibility of owning pets and to respect life in any form. As a city, we have those same obligations. We are doing many great things to assist our animal residents. Animal Services participated in Taylorsville Days with an educational booth highlighting adoptions and sterilization. They also hosted a Pet Fest festival in September with the same messages. But we need to find better ways to deal with animals that have been cast off by their owners and are now left to our care. Recently, we have been asked to review our policies at the facility we share with our partner, West Valley City Animal Services. I want to use this forum to challenge our city and West Valley City to seriously consider alternate solutions to animal euthanasia of any type, except where it is absolutely unavoidable. To that end, I would propose that we commit to certification as a no-kill animal shelter by the year 2015. With the help of volunteer groups who are ready and willing to help, I think this is an attainable goal. Talk about courts. Courts are the consequences of lack of respect, responsibility, and relationships. Our court does a very good job. It's a very busy court, one of the busiest in the valley. We have two great judges and a great staff of clerks who man that court and who deal with the problems that some of us really probably wouldn't want to have to deal with. One of our judges, Judge Marcia Thomas, Judge Thomas, would you please stand, was recognized for her tremendous contributions to the judiciary with the Quality of Justice Award. This is the highest award given by the Utah Judicial Council to a justice court judge. That's not all. In addition, Judge Thomas was also awarded Justice Court Judge of the Year by the Board of Justice Court Judges. Judge Thomas. Judge Michael Kwan received a scholarship to attend a judicial education course at the National Judicial College. The court also applied for and was granted recertification for another 4-year term. They also received grants to fund technology upgrades. Now we'll talk a little bit about emergency preparedness. We have a responsibility to be prepared for emergencies so that we may be able to sustain ourselves and assist others in a disaster. As a city, we have completed our Joint Emergency Operation Plan, the blueprint for how the city and county respond to an emergency situation. The city also received 5 grants for emergency operations equipment, communications equipment, and 72-hour kits for staff responders. We completed many hours of training, including FEMA-required employee training. We awarded 53 citizen training certificates, and we certified 16 Red Cross shelter training volunteers and 1 additional ham radio volunteer. Our city continues to be an example for others throughout the state in emergency preparedness. A teenager needs to have respect. Our young city has many examples of proper respect. Respect for our health. Our Healthy Taylorsville Committee has been working hard to make our city residents healthy and safe. Their efforts have helped us to be awarded the Gold Level Healthy Community Award by the Utah Department of Health. They have worked with schools and the community, promoting sports safety, health screenings, and promoting healthy behaviors. Our Ordinance Review Committee recommended and the City Council passed an ordinance that helps prevent people from being exposed to secondhand tobacco smoke in public places within the city. Respect for the environment. Our Green Committee first met in January of 2011. They are working on ways to educate our city on the benefits of being green, including energy-saving ideas, as well as promoting recycling and other environmentally friendly practices. We are also continuing to be green in removing the garbage created in our homes and our businesses. Taylorsville, working with our partners in sanitation, continues to be a leader in recycling, collecting an average of 495 pounds of recyclable material per home in 2011. We also collected 420,000 pounds of green waste that did not go into the landfill. Some of that green waste was recycled and returned to our own dog park to be used as mulch. All this was done with a 97% satisfaction rating from residents. And in addition, 100% alternative fuel was used for the area cleanup program. We also this past year, for the first time ever, qualified as a Tree City USA city. This is a great honor, and it's mostly attributed to the fact that we have great volunteers who are able to get trees donated, who are able to donate enough time. There's a monetary cost of doing this, and we were able to make most of that monetary cost in volunteer labor. So thanks again to our great volunteers for making this possible. Respect for the community. I'm glad we have Boy Scouts here today. The city was a beneficiary to several Boy Scout, religious, business, and civic service projects, including a massive cleanup project on the Jordan River that had over 1,000 participants from one LDS stake, and a service project by city employees to paint benches and buildings at Valley Regional Park prior to Taylorsville days. As a city, we need to focus on neighborhood revitalization, both through enhanced code enforcement and through investments in beautification projects. Pride in community increases property values, retains good residents and businesses, and adds to an increased quality of life that our constituents expect and deserve. Volunteers, the epitome of respect for a city. The lifeblood of our community continues to be enhanced by the many volunteers who do untold hours of service to the city simply because they love their community. These acts of service reach into virtually every department of our city, from shoveling snow at the senior center to designing programs for the Arts Council, supervising parking at Taylorsville Days, visiting businesses in the city, creating a parade for Taylorsville Days, overseeing the budget process, visiting businesses, planting trees, reading for school kids, pulling weeds, painting over graffiti, handing out groceries at the Taylorsville Food Bank, walking dogs at the shelter, being a guide at the museum, all the way through looking through volumes of ordinances and sitting through endless meetings simply to help improve our young city. Thank you again. I want to talk about our youth city council and ambassadors. I'm glad you're here. Our youth continue to amaze me with the service they provide the community. In 2011, they held a community yard sale with proceeds going to the Veterans Memorial. They sponsored a special needs arts festival, a freeze flash mob at Walmart to highlight pedestrian safety, and distributed Thanksgiving meals to the needy. This in addition to individual projects that serve children and seniors throughout the community. Thank you to our youth. these are the future leader of our city and our community, and I believe that the city and community will be in good hands. Most importantly, as a city, we have shown respect to those who serve us every day in difficult conditions and dangerous situations, always willing to serve their country, and sometimes giving the ultimate sacrifice. Our Veterans Memorial is partially complete and is a fitting monument to those in uniform, past and present, and also honors the families left behind by those service people. We were honored to have Governor Herbert speak at our last Veterans Day celebration. This annual celebration is a direct result of city staff working with the veterans community to honor our veterans. Communications. We all know what happens when communication breaks down between teenagers and their parents. No one wins when the two parties do not have a clear understanding of each other's thoughts and intentions. The same is true for our city and its parents, the taxpayers. In 2011, the city contracted for the services of a communications director. We now have a city Facebook page, YouTube channel, Twitter account, I have one too, and a city-sponsored blog. We have also redesigned and streamlined our web page to provide better communication and customer service to our constituents and businesses. We are now looking at ways to improve our communications using our public channel 17 through Salt Lake Community College. I would like to acknowledge Salt Lake Community College, Terry Lamb, a Taylorsville resident. Thank you for being here to film this, another volunteer. And we hope to soon have live streaming of our city council and other meetings on the website as well as on SLC TV. I would also like to propose that we create community councils in each council district comprised of citizens who want to look at ways we can improve the city. There is an ordinance that allows for such, and I believe that we can use them to get information out to the citizens and to get feedback on important issues. Communication is a big part of customer service, and we continue as staff and volunteers to keep customer service as a priority in our contacts with those we serve. We have an excellent staff here at the city. They're truly public servants. They take time to cross-train. There's not an employee of the city who does one job. We have all been called on to fill in another position at one time or another. Last but not least, a teenager needs to have some fun. Man, do we have fun. Our LARP committee, Leisure Activities, Recreation, and Parks, I got it right, Retta, where are you? I got it right, thank you. Sponsored many events during 2011, including planting of trees on Arbor Day, as well as at 2 elementary schools. The first annual Taylorsville Urban Iditarod, Taylorsville Days 5K Run, the YMCA Earth Day, Bountiful Baskets Food Co-op, and are in the process of expanding the Garden Club to the city center. We have also been well represented in the baseball community. Our 11 and 13-year-old teams both took state this past year. Congratulations to the young men for the work they did, and another thank you to the coaches and parents and businesses who support these Little League teams, because they frankly wouldn't exist without you being there, so thank you for that. The Historic Preservation Committee has added to the fund by hosting Saturday with Santa, holding a Halloween event, and providing hundreds of elementary school kids a chance to visit the history of Taylorsville at the Heritage Center. The Senior Center held many events this year, including a Valentine's Day dance, line dancing instruction, billiards, and ceramics. The Arts Council has been busy with plays and concerts, but found time again to help with Taylorsville Days, both in entertainment and booth management, and have been very helpful in the Veterans Memorial Project. They also presented the first annual Taylorsville's Got Talent event. I was proud to be a part of a 60s-70s rock band lip sync entry with Senators Wattups and Maine, as well as Representatives Harper and Anderson. We were quite a sight. Needless to say, we did not walk away with an award. Our Taylorsville Salt Lake Community College orchestra continues to grow and is led by a former Taylorsville High student, Adam Larson. I also want to announce the acquisition of a new park in Taylorsville. The city will be taking over Labrum Park from the LDS Church. We will be upgrading the facility and opening that park to the public. I also propose that we start a new budget line item this year and start saving for a multi-purpose center. Let's start putting money aside to save for the multi-purpose center that we've needed for years. No time to list all of the good things happening in our city. Suffice it to say that the state of the city is excellent. We have some difficult decisions ahead regarding funding and philosophy, but I am confident that working together as citizens, staff, elected officials, and community partners, that we can overcome these trying teenage years and emerge as a full-grown, beautiful, respected, and admired city of the future. I am proud to live and work in this city. I am proud of volunteers, staff, elected officials, businesses, and community partners. I especially want to recognize two new council members that we have, Councilmember Overson and Councilmember Burgess. Thank you for your willingness to put your names on the ballot and your willingness to serve this great community.